Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Bill's next step, Remy's attempt to end Will and Electra's horror show. According to Thursday, January 2nd spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Electra Forrester will rely on Will Spencer to assist her, but the outcome will be a terrifying spectacle. As they battle for Electra's future, Will plans to intensify his rescue attempts by assaulting Remy Price. Now that Katie Logan is aware of the deepfakes, Will naturally wants Electra to go back to Forrester Creations and lead the life she was destined to have. Remy will remain his compulsive, domineering self, while Will simply cares about what's best for Electra. Will stop at nothing to protect Electra, since this may even become a "if I can't have her, no one can" issue. Given that Will and Remy will be fighting physically close to the railing, it will need him to risk his own life. Of course, raises the prospect of a dramatic conclusion in which someone goes soaring over the railing. Would Will be able to reclaim the upper hand and send Remy flying over instead of Remy trying to terminate him permanently? In any case, there will be an interesting climax to this face-off. Fans of B&B will be eager to see how Remy and Will's breathtaking confrontation moments unfold, since there can only be one winner. Now that he has secured Luna Nozawa's release from prison, Bill Spencer will prepare for the next phase. Given what Luna is capable of, it's obvious that Bill is taking a large risk, yet he couldn't abandon her while she keeps being hurt. Given that Luna can be a true con artist when she feels like it, we question if she was being targeted for genuine reasons. Luna may have made friends who were eager to provide her a ticket out or provoked other prisoners to have herself beaten. Now that Luna has what she wants, it doesn't really matter. Bill took on the role of Luna's hero, but before the week is up, he will set the rules and make it clear what he expects of her going forward. Luna could be under house arrest for this next section of the tale, since our predictions indicate that Bill will be keeping a careful eye on her at the mansion. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill will eventually have to tell his loved ones on his most recent Luna move, thus hearing the news will undoubtedly create some shock and rage. Electra's destiny, Will and Remy's brutal confrontation. Here are the spoilers for Thursday, January 2nd, 2025's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Fans may anticipate learning Electra Forrester's destiny. The Bold and the Beautiful, next. In addition, Will Spencer and Remy Price engage in a brutal duel. But this battle will put Will in grave risk. Additionally, there is the matter with Bill Spencer and Luna Nozawa. Let's discuss what will happen in the next episode of the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Will Spencer's crazy search. According to B&B spoilers for Thursday, January 2nd, Will was able to call Electra at last. Regarding Electra's employment at Forrester Creations, Will wanted to deliver the good news. But Electra informed Will that she was having problems. Electra sent Will her position even though she wasn't really sure where she was. Will, meantime, is riding his motorbike to the place where Electra was last seen. Will is unaware that his life is in serious jeopardy. B&B spoilers, the showdown with Remy Price. Will finds Electra and Remy on Thursday, January 2nd. Will and Remy face off, but Electra will be rescued. Both men will claim to be attempting to rescue Electra during that altercation. According to Will, he is shielding Electra from Remy and his false illusions. Remy will, however, urge that he must protect Electra from Will and the Forresters. I'm really curious as to why Remy brings up the Forrester family. Is there a deeper link than we realize? The brave and the lovely Luna Nozawa's release from prison. According to Thursday, January 2nd spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Luna will be shocked to be released from jail. Bill will set ground rules when Luna leaps into his arms. It would seem that Bill may have persuaded a court to transfer Luna to house arrest. But Bill knows better than this. Bill could have a scheme to deceive Luna and prevent her from ever killing again. B&B spoilers for January 2nd, 2025, Thursday. As the invasion of Forrester Creations unfolds, fans may potentially see what transpires. What are Hope Logan and Carter Walton going to do next? How will the Forrester family regain control of their business? On Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, which narrative are you most excited to see? What do you think will happen to Bill, Hope, Luna, and Carter? How will Electra, Remy, Will, Katie Logan, Ivy Forrester, and the other characters fare in the future? The struggle to preserve Electra was more than simply a contest of physical prowess or shrewd tactics. It was a furnace that put all relationships to the test, revealed ulterior motives, and reshaped alliances in ways no one could have predicted. Caught in the middle of a complex web of deceit, ambition, and personal grudges, Electra's predicament served as the impetus for a conflict that extended far beyond her immediate rescue. The stakes increased steadily as the participants fought for her destiny, resulting in a tumultuous mixture of peril, despair, and resolve. Electra's situation wasn't coincidental. A mysterious character with connections to influential groups planned her kidnapping as part of a larger scheme to use her knowledge of secrets that may topple whole civilizations. Unknowingly, Electra had turned into the secret to a plot involving family, wealth, and decades' worth of unspoken scandals. Her captors misjudged her determination, but they had failed to account for the ferocious devotion and ingenuity of her supporters. Will, a guy whose strong bond with Electra compelled him to take any and all risks, led the rescue effort. Will's unrelenting will to rescue her stemmed from a deep feeling of obligation and shame for not protecting her in the first place, rather than merely friendship or duty. Remy, whose intentions were far more ambiguous, shared his determination. Remy and Electra had a complex relationship that was characterized by both adoration and animosity. Even his closest friends questioned his genuine objectives since, despite his claims to be fighting for her freedom, his actions often suggested hidden agendas. Both strategy and sheer resolve were crucial in the battle to rescue Electra. Will's strategy was deliberate and meticulous, depending on his connections and a thorough examination of the captor's vulnerabilities. He pushed himself to the limit of his endurance as he labored ceaselessly to put together the clues that would take him to Electra. Will believed that every second counted and that every mistake might have disastrous results. Remy, meanwhile, preferred a more forceful and impetuous strategy. He often acted without rigorous forethought and was prepared to take chances that Will would have deemed foolish. The two men's joint purpose became a fight for control as a result of their divergent approaches. As the strain increased, their disagreements became more intense as they accused one another of putting Electra's life in jeopardy with their different tactics. Despite being physically imprisoned, Electra was not a helpless participant in her own liberation. Her modest acts of disobedience, like as tricking her captors into underestimating her or leaving subtle hints for potential rescuers, demonstrated her cunning and will to live. Will and Remy were inspired by Electra's fortitude, which made them realize what was really at risk and forced them to put aside their disagreements, if only momentarily. The struggle for Electra's life exposed the divisions among those attempting to save her. As the crisis worsened, Bill Spencer, who had at first supported the effort in silence, found himself pulled farther into the conflict. Although his resources and influence were important, his participation also sparked questions about his genuine intentions. Others questioned if Bill's concern for Electra's destiny sprang from pure altruism or whether it had anything to do with his own secrets that she may have revealed. Torn between her increasing worry for Electra and her commitment to Bill, Katie Logan emerged as an unexpected voice of reason. Even when egos battled and tempers flew, her ability to negotiate between the disputing parties helped keep the mission on course. But Katie's position also put her in danger, requiring her to negotiate a labyrinth of conflicting interests and covert plans. The scenario became much more complicated when Luna was just freed from prison. She was both an asset and a problem because of her relationship with Electra and her own experience of being singled out. Although Luna's knowledge of the captor's tactics was very helpful, her presence also heightened unresolved tensions between the gang. She was a wild card because of her brittle emotional condition, and her actions might help or hurt the rescue attempt at any time. The stakes got unaffordable as the effort to rescue Electra drew to a head. Will had a crucial piece of information that indicated a place where Electra was probably being kept, but there was not much time to take action. As the clock was ticking, Will and Remy had to face their disagreements head-on and decide how to go forward. They combined their different approaches to create a calculated risk that required both daring action and meticulous preparation. Remy's strength gave them the muscle they needed to get into the strongly guarded facility, while Will's connections arranged a distraction that would divert the captors' attention from Electra. It was a tactic that called for total collaboration and confidence, two qualities that had been lacking until then. Tension was evident as the rescue progressed. Every stage of the strategy was risky, and any mistake might bring the whole thing to a complete collapse. The group's biggest strength was their capacity to improvise and adjust under pressure, which let them get beyond challenges that would have been impossible otherwise. Although it was a moment of victory, Electra's rescue had a price. Her experience left her emotionally and physically damaged, and her rescuers' relationships were irrevocably altered. Despite their disagreements, Will and Remy came to grudgingly appreciate one another, but their rivalry was far from over. The struggle to rescue her served as a sobering reminder to Electra of her power and the extent others would go to in order to save her. She was thankful for her liberation, but she found it difficult to balance that feeling with the residual distress and anxiety that her incarceration had given her. For others who had been involved, the pandemonium surrounding her rescue also had far-reaching effects. As inquiries about his role emerged, Bill's reputation suffered, and Katie began to wonder about the price of her allegiance. Still struggling with her own trauma, Luna saw a kindred spirit in Electra and started to build a relationship that would be essential in the fight ahead. The battle was obviously far from done, even if Electra's rescue signaled the end of one chapter. Her secrets continued to threaten people in positions of authority, and the forces that had plotted against her were still at large. A reminder that freedom sometimes comes at a cost and that worthwhile conflicts are seldom won without sacrifice. The group's success was bittersweet. For all those concerned, the battle to rescue Electra turned into a turning point that exposed their innermost selves as well as their flaws and talents. The tale would reverberate long after the dust had cleared and the wounds had started to heal because it was one of tenacity, atonement, and the unshakable relationships that are formed in the midst of hardship. After weeks of building tension, Will and Remy's last battle to decide Electra's destiny eventually broke out in a whirlpool of treachery, courage, and harsh realities. A high-stakes drama filled with unresolved emotions, surprising alliances, and a startling finale that left everyone reeling was what started out as a rescue operation. Their conflict ended in a way that revealed everyone's innermost ambitions and concerns, rather than just being the result of personal grudges. In the aftermath, the question still stood: how much had it cost to write this last chapter of this terrifying story? Remy and Will have never been on the same page. Their antagonism, which was based on mistrust and conflicting values, had been simmering long before Electra was taken. Remy's bold, impetuous personality contrasted with Will's cool-headed, calculated attitude. Since they each considered the other as more of a burden than an ally, their mutual desire to save Electra only served to increase their conflict. Every step of their tense collaboration seemed like a ticking time bomb, and despite their mutual hostility, circumstances compelled them to cooperate. The lady entangled in their power battle, Electra, was anything from a helpless spectator. She was tenacious and resourceful, and she had outwitted her captors at every opportunity to escape death. Her determination had turned into a cause of conflict for her potential rescuers as well as a ray of hope. Remy's obsession with Electra was more sinister, laden with remorse and an unwritten obligation that he felt obligated to pay back, while Will saw her as a symbol of strength, someone worth fighting for at any costs. There were many blunders and betrayals in the run-up to the final confrontation. The result of Will's methodical search for Electra was a secret safe house on the outskirts of Los Angeles where she was being detained. However, there was a price for the discovery. A reliable source turned on him, alerting the captors and making the already risky endeavor more difficult. The rescue squad was left unprotected and undermanned as a result of Remy's aggressive methods, which had inadvertently damaged relationships with possible allies. The mayhem exploded with terrible immediacy when the safe house was ultimately invaded. After weeks of engaging in a risky game of psychological chess with her captors, Electra took advantage of the chance to interfere with their internal operations. Will and Remy were able to attack the complex after her fast thinking incapacitated one of the guards. However, in the heat of the moment, their union fell apart. Remy deviated from the prearranged course of action and charged directly into danger, motivated by an explosive mixture of hatred and despair. Ever the strategist, Will attempted to control him, but their disagreements enabled the captors to reorganize and intensify the battle. What should have been a planned rescue devolved into a free-for-all as the turmoil got out of hand, leaving Electra's life in jeopardy. A startling and violent encounter marked the end of Will and Remy's tumultuous relationship. They encountered Electra's primary prisoner, a mysterious person whose actual identity startled them both, deep inside the maze-like safe house. The already tense confrontation was further heightened by the discovery of a common link to their past, a betrayal that bound them all together. Remy's rage flared as Will attempted to defuse the situation by advocating for a calm approach. Remy accused Will of acting rashly and striking the kidnapper without a clear plan because he put strategy over Electra's safety. A disastrous chain of events resulted from the ensuing chaos. Gunshots broke out, and a stray bullet hit Will in the shoulder, momentarily incapacitating him. As Will battled to recover, Remy, who realized too late the seriousness of his error, was left to fight off the kidnappers by himself. Electra demonstrated once again that she was no helpless damsel in distress among the mayhem. She escaped her bonds, grabbed a weapon, and battled alongside her potential rescuers, her will to live equal to their desperate attempt to save her. They were able to defeat the captors together, but the harm was already done. All three of them suffered severe bodily harm, but the psychological effects were considerably worse. There was a mixture of relief and destruction after the altercation. Although Electra was at last free, everyone concerned was burdened by the expense of saving her. Despite his injuries, Will faced Remy with a silent rage that was more scathing than any spoken charge. The two guys eventually revealed the complaints that had stoked their hostility, weary and covered in blood. More than ensuring Electra's physical safety, Will saw the struggle to rescue her as an opportunity to demonstrate that reasoned action might prevail over rash passion. The assignment was very personal to Remy. It was an opportunity to make up for past transgressions and to defend someone he cared about in a manner he had not done before. In a furious confrontation that left both men doubting not only what they had done but who they were, their divergent motives collided one more time. Electra intervened to mediate after seeing the toll her trauma had taken on her rescuers. Her unvarnished and unadulterated comments sliced through the tension with unexpected clarity. She reminded them that saving a life and resisting the powers who wanted to kill them all had been the main goals of their mission, not their egos or personal grudges. Her fortitude and insight acted as a wake-up call, making Will and Remy face the more profound realities about themselves and one another. The effects of the face-off and the wild end were felt much beyond the safe house. Their common world was rocked by the news of Electra's rescue, which revealed the covert schemes of those responsible for her kidnapping. They discovered a vast conspiracy that included influential people who would do everything to keep their secrets safe. The battle to rescue Electra turned out to be a life-changing event for Will. He had to reassess his goals and face his own limits as a result of the event. His wound was a tangible reminder of the price he had paid for his decisions, and his tense relationship with Remy made him wonder whether he had done enough to mend their differences. Meanwhile, Remy was at a turning point in his life. He had confronted his own demons throughout the expedition, revealing the suffering and remorse that had motivated his behavior. Once a source of pride, his impetuous behavior now seemed like a burden that had almost lost them everything. However, he also felt a new sense of purpose after the incident, resolving to use his enthusiasm to restore the trust he had lost. Electra had a hard path to rehabilitation even if she was physically free. She had wounds from her trauma that extended far beyond the surface, and the road to recovery would need for equal parts fortitude and resiliency. Nevertheless, she came out of the mayhem with a renewed feeling of autonomy, resolved to take back her life and pursue redress for the wrongs done to her. Even though the battle to rescue Electra is over, the effects of Will and Remy's unexpected conclusion will still be felt. Despite having started off as very personal disputes, their confrontation eventually led them to respect and understanding for one another. Their future decisions will be influenced by the lessons they have learned from Electra and from one another. One thing is evident as they each go in their separate ways, their confrontation's wild conclusion marked the start of a new chapter rather than its conclusion. Resilience, redemption, and the unbreakable relationships created in the furnace of hardship characterize this chapter. Even if it was difficult to achieve, Electra's liberation serves as a reminder of the power inherent in even the most erratic and unexpected of coalitions. Even though their voyage has left wounds, there is still optimism that they will be able to rebuild and find peace after the storm.